Greetings from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to the GSL. I am Tasteless. With me is Artosis. Artosis, we only have 8 players left in this tournament.
I know, it's wild.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had a lot more than 8. We had 12 left. And then, 11.
We're getting slowly.
Then 10, then 9, then just 8. And here we are.
We're finally here. This is actually, for me, I'm so totally amped for this because we're doing all of this in one day. That's going to be so many good games here. So many good players have come here, many of them eliminated. But we finally got it down to these 8 guys. Whether they're the best or not, these are the ones that are going to be fighting for the money.
Well, they must be the best if they're fighting for the money. And
it's true.
We have great lineups today. We have the craziest, sickest matches. We have a match that could be the finals as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no kidding.
With Kisu against Hope Torture.
Yes.
That is pretty amazing of a match right there. I mean, either one of those I could see winning this tournament.
I know. It's going to be epic.
Our other matches, though, you cannot underestimate. We have Ensnare against Hongun Prime, OGS versus Prime. That rivalry continues. We have a Fruit Dealer, my personal favorite. He is going to be going up. And it's going to be great matches, man.
It's going to be pretty epic, man. Yeah, we got the Fruit Dealer taking on Inca. Inca is, of course, such a sicko, doing so many PvPs in this event.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the day results for the round of 16, day number 2.
Kisu taking out Hyperdub. Really amazing cheese blockings in that series. You definitely want to watch it. Hope Torture destroying Check Prime like he was nothing. Then we had OGS Ensnare destroying any pro Prime like he was nothing. And then Hongun upsets Clyde.
Clyde taken out.
I could have seen Clyde winning the whole event easily, but Hongun took him out. Some fancy DT warping and Void Ray Russian, and that was it, man.
That's apparently how you beat Clyde. You don't let him get to the the mid game or the late game. So very nice rush strategies coming from him.
Absolutely. We're going to have to see if he's able to do that again today against Ensnare. But Hongun, it felt like he used all the tricks in his bag of tricks. So, yeah, as long as Ensnare watched those games, which I am quite certain he did, might be pretty hard.
Here are the brackets for today with the round of 8, day 1. We have next LiveForever against Maka Prime, a Fruit Dealer against OGS Inca, Sokisu, excuse me. Wait, how do I say his name properly?
His last name is So, and his first name is Kisu.
So that's right.
I call him Kisu.
So Kisu. We're just going to call him Kisu since SSKS is a little bit difficult to get out in the cast. Hope Torture, who is, of course, also known as Into the Rainbow and from Starcraft 1. And finally, we got OGS Ensnare against Hongun Prime for the last match of the day.
I got to ask you, Tasteless, looking at that lineup, what is your dream finals?
Oh, that's a good question. I would have to say to see perhaps a Fruit Dealer against either let's see, a Fruit Dealer against Hope Torture.
That would be amazing.
That would be pretty epic.
I would also love to see a Fruit Dealer against Kisu. I think that either of those matches would be just off the hook, crazy, insane, awesome, amazing.
But then
spectacular.
If Inca does get through, though, I mean, that would not be too much of a shocker as well. Inca's play has proven to be very diverse. He's got solid builds. He's got all-in builds. He's got aggressive builds, passive builds. So, he's somebody I would also like to see. But, of course, with a Fruit Dealer being the last remaining Zerg, he's got a lot of fans behind him, a lot of people rooting that another Zerg makes it through here. Zerg having a little bit of a harder time in StarCraft 2 since the game's pretty new. It's pretty balanced overall for a new RTS game, but Blizzard's still patching stuff and, trying to perfect it so he can get his balance in StarCraft 1.
Hopefully someday, somehow.
Someday.
I'm sure it'll happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just takes time. All right, well, we're going to introduce our players in just a little bit here. Tell us a little bit about LiveForever.
Well, LiveForever, he's actually a really good Terran player. I've played him so many times on the Korean ladder, and he's a really high level. The thing is, early on, we didn't see him really play his best. He's not an experienced pro gamer. So some of his games were not that good, and people are like, oh, what's this guy doing? How's he getting this far? But he's a really great player. He keeps playing better and better, and he might be able to take out Maka. Maka is a great player. He did a lot during the beta. He's done a lot so far in StarCraft 2 since its release. More than LiveForever, but LiveForever cannot be underestimated in this match.
Yeah, LiveForever, a really tough player. Maka, probably the favorite. Maka, you guys could probably all watch this game on the opening day of the GSL. he was one of the players debuting along with players like E.G. Hydra. Maka is he has a history right now of being a top StarCraft 2 player since the opening day of the beta.
Yeah.
He was originally a Warcraft 3 player. Talking to him just a few minutes ago before we went live, he said that he wasn't super confident. He thinks he can do it, but it's going to be tough. He says if he wins his first 2 games in a row, it's going to be a lot better than if he has to go to the third map.
He does not like that Steps of War map
he does not.
For TVT.
So that's kind of an interesting factor. Feeling more confident on the first 2. So hopefully he'll pull through. But either way, whoever gets through this, it's going to be pretty kick-ass. Tell us a little bit about the race distribution that we have now here for the round of 8.
Well, we have 4 Terrans, 3 Protoss, and a Zerg. It came pretty close to not having a lineup like that. We could have just as easily had like 7 Terrans and a Protoss, but that is not the way it went down.
It luckily did not end up like that because that would be too many Terrans in the final 8. But, yeah, it's fairly balanced. Too bad we don't have more Zergs in there, but it's really exciting. A Fruit Dealer, oh, man, I can't wait to see his game.
I love a Fruit Dealer, man.
I'm a fan of the Fruit Dealer.
I love that Fruit Dealer.
I
don't love the ones that wake me up with their loud trucks. But,
yeah, normally they sell their fruit from trucks in the mornings, but this Fruit Dealer, very good.
Yeah, man. Awesome Zerg, so fun to watch. I loved his matches all throughout the tournament. He's been just great to watch. So, by
the way, some games you guys should definitely check out. Going back, TLO's game against its OGS Hyperdub, if I'm remembering this correctly.
That was a great series, and also a Fruit Dealer against OGS Top.
Yes,
both those matches astoundingly good.
Yes, and of course, E.G. Hydra's match. That was also
that was actually a really great match.
Yeah,
no
too
matter what
bad he lost
because
that's our little nerd. It's my little teammate. I wanted to see him go on, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But if he had spotted that expansion, but that's also definitely an awesome match to check out as well. Oh, and of course, Inca's last PvP game. That's something else you guys should check out.
That was pretty crazy with those cannons.
Oh my God.
That is your dream game right there.
That is my dream game. I love seeing strats like those. All right, well, it looks like our Korean commentators are talking, are doing a little more analysis on stage than normal because we haven't introduced the players yet. But I want to go on and just talk about the map lineup at this point in time because I think it's pretty interesting for TVT.
If I could just interject really quickly here. We actually have a little correction from yesterday.
Oh.
The finals on Saturday are actually at the normal time, not at 2 p.m.
Oh, they're not?
Announced. Okay. That was a miscommunication. So, yeah. You're going to be at the
that's
normal
good.
time. So, just tune in normal time on Saturday, or that might be Friday, wherever you're from. I don't know the exact time. There he is. Next LiveForever. He took out Nesty, also known as Zergbong, 2-1 in the first round. Kind of a sloppy match. Then August Wera, pretty legit battlecruiser user, the guy that slain Spunky, took him out 2-0 in the round of 32. And then in the round of 16, took out the Hydra killer, Ro.8 Prime. He's been getting stronger and stronger throughout. And his confident matchup is actually Terran versus Terran.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Not exactly Maka's most confident matchup here. I think he's improved a lot. Each time he goes into that booth, he plays a little bit better.
Yeah, he does.
Than the time before. And this might not be an easy match for Maka. Terran versus Terran, by the way, really exciting mirror matchup.
Yeah.
So much different stuff you can do.
I do love that. It's just like StarCraft 1 in that way. And here we have Maka Prime. He took out Focus, slaughtered that old Warcraft 3 pro in the first round, 2-0. Then he took on Juke Jung. Pretty close first game there in Desert Oasis, if y'all recall. I definitely suggest going and checking that out, but he took out Juke Jung 2-0 in the round of 32. Then in the round of 16, took out Legal Mind. Legal Mind had a lot of fans here, but his brute force style, reminiscent of The Rock, didn't work out for him. Maka advanced, and this is going to be Maka's first TVT here in the GSL.
Maka, he is a nice guy, really good personality on that guy. He is also, though, he doesn't seem to be getting nervous before these matches.
No,
like some of these guys in the makeup room, I mean, you could just see their very serious look on their face.
Yeah,
not much talking, going over builds. Maka just kind of shows up. He's joking around.
He's a goofy guy, man. A fun-loving, playful guy. And that's the way he always is. I don't think he ever gets nervous. That's a good attitude to have when, before a match. You don't want to get too nervous. Some of these guys, their hearts are racing. You can see the sweat coming down. Yeah, they're so serious, but he just takes nothing seriously.
He doesn't seem to feel the pressure as much as some of these other players. Now, next LiveForever does. We didn't get the chance to talk to him before the match, but he does strike me as a little bit more serious.
You know,
a little bit more.
He is the sole next player to make it this far. There's a lot of pressure on him, to be honest. He's not an experienced RTS player, really. Maka at least played some Warcraft 3 somewhat competitively, although not really professionally. So, you know, it's going to be a little bit harder for him, especially with how laid-back Maka is, how nice guy. You know, he's much more well-known. He's won a lot of tournaments in Korea since the game has come out in the beta form. So it's a hard match for next LiveForever, but there shouldn't be... Aside from Nex's pressure, I think that most of the community thinks that he's going to go ahead and lose it, so that should take some of the pressure off.
Now let's take a look at the maps over here. We have first map, Scrap Station, second map, Metalopolis, and the third map is going to be Steppes of War. Now, the maps they excluded, next LiveForever taking out Desert Oasis and Blistering Sands, Maka Prime, also taking out Desert Oasis and Kulas Ravine. Desert Oasis and Kulas Ravine, maps that require very different play in Terran versus Terran.
Yeah.
You could be contained in completely different ways. Drops, of course, playing a much bigger role on a map like Desert Oasis. So, without a lot of time to really practice, these guys decide, you know, all right, I'm going to take out the weirder maps in the mirror matchup, and we're going to try to stick with maps we know. The countdown has started. Scrap Station, TBT, let's do this.
All right. Scrap Station on the right position.
We have the one, the only from the team next.
Let's LiveForever.
Up here. His name rhymes with one of the Muppets. He is
Maka Prime.
What Muppet does it rhyme with, Tesos?
As if I was thinking of Fozzie Bear doing Waka Waka. I guess
No.
Maka.
It's close though.
His name rhymes with the laugh of one of the Muppets.
There you go.
So Terran vs. Terran on this map, Maka feels pretty confident. He said that ahead of time.
Yeah, he likes this map a lot.
He enjoys Terran vs. Terran on this map. This map is also not one of these maps that generally rewards super orthodox play, but it is an interesting map nonetheless. It's not as out of control as a map like Desert Oasis, which I think is actually pretty hard to master Terran versus Terran.
Yeah, no one really wants to play that map, and something to take into consideration here, these players did not have a lot of time to prepare, especially the ones that played yesterday. They literally had one night. You know, I was talking to Spunky, and Inca literally played 5 games in preparation.
My God.
These players are normally used to waiting a week, probably playing, you know, hundreds of games to prepare for their match. Instead, it's going to be who is less tired from yesterday. But these two, they actually had their matches last Friday, so they had a little while to practice at least.
Yeah, the format we have for this tournament is very different from what we did in the Classic. In the Classic, we just tore, you know, I would actually rephrase that. What we did in the Classic is we just really spaced it out. It was a tournament that took months to complete. In this case, we rammed the tournament through, so it's very action-packed. Now, right off the bat, I do also want to point out that LiveForever got his Vespi and Gasgeyser first and his Barracks second. That is not as common as what we're seeing over here from Maka, who seems to be getting Barracks first, Refinery second. So clearly there's some type of gas play. He might want to try to get a factory out pretty soon. Game's pretty new, so we're seeing a lot of new strategies from these guys, but we should expect to see something pretty different here from LiveForever.
Yeah, definitely a very fast factory going up. I mean, if you get the Barracks after the gas, you have that 100 gas. When the Barracks finishes, you can make the factory immediately. But, you know, it can be a little bit risky against some of these proxy Barracks techniques, so you got to be careful about that.
And on, you know, a two-player map like this, proxy techniques are actually so common.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of proxies throughout the GSL in a lot of different matchups, actually. Funnily enough, we've never seen one in Zerg versus Terran.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Terran versus Terran? Sure. Terran versus Pro? Sure. Zerg versus Terran? Nah. That's
surprising. I wonder if that's going to change as the game evolves here. Maka's Marine does get the first shot off, so he's going to control the Zelnaga Watchtower. Hang out with the Automaton 2000 over here.
I believe sounds more fierce than it looks, I tell you.
It does. When you think about it, if this game's in the future, that would actually have to be a pretty old robot.
That's true.
It's from the year 2000. Wow. That robot's actually 10 years out of date. Here we have the double Hellions on the way out here. He's building a tech lab and going to get a starport here.
Maybe a little Hellion drop going on.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm betting.
Harass the front with Hellions a bit. Wait for him to move out. Drop some Hellions in the back. See how many SCVs you can actually end up getting. I'd like to see these new strategies pulled out when, this is it, man. You have to pull something out. You want to win this match. It's so important. The money is going up drastically at this point.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's literally thousands of dollars that are on the line. And then he actually killed the Automaton 2000.
Splash damage just totally destroyed him, that poor guy. He's been here for 10 years.
That's
Finally,
too
the
bad.
Terrans come to town. Instead of making friends, they kill him.
He's rushing up here with the Hellions. These Marines place very well. The Hellions not going to be able to get up there. And that is actually the first, I believe, neutral unit that we've seen killed in an accident in the game. Now, he is going to go for drop, as predicted. Followed up with a Raven. Meanwhile, we have double Viking coming here from Maka. This build is much more common on this map than what we're seeing here from LiveForever.
Yeah, I like Maka's build a lot better. Look at this. He's going to drop off some Hellions, but then Vikings are going to pop out, kill that medevac. As long as he runs his SCVs, it's going to be a good position. Look at this. Runs right by
him.
This is a suicide mission for all the units involved.
You can see the Vikings completely missed that. SCV's taking tons of damage here, but not actually killing enough.
Completely doing nothing. Going to lose that dropship as well. Not a good move there by LiveForever. Very risky. The very standard opening of Maka countered it completely.
Yeah, I personally prefer the Viking play on maps like this. Now, interestingly enough, he follows that up not with two more Vikings, but actually with a medevac. And that's actually quite an interesting play because I was expecting him to continue to pump Vikings, but these almost look like it's a defensive play that's going to allow him to follow this up with another type of drop of his own.
Oh, and look at this. The Raven might be going out. And it does, in fact. Not before dropping down the auto turret. And Maka just slapping next LiveForever.
He controlled that perfectly, keeping that medevac alive. He's going to let these Vikings in the front take the damage. He can then lift them off. I think Maka is just going to take them out. This is, I believe this might actually be game. I don't see any real option here. There's one tank coming out here, and that's just not going to be enough.
Definitely not. He's lost so many SCVs at this point. Not really going to be any coming back from this.
You can see now he picks up and moves out. He's already done the damage he needed to do.
Yeah.
Take a look at the units. Oh, sorry, Artosis. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You can see there's 12 SCVs over here for next LiveForever compared to the 28 that Maka has right now.
With all that damage that Maka did, he actually lost one Marine.
That's actually
he
true.
Lost one Marine. That is it. I mean, there is not going to be much coming back before LiveForever.
This siege tank actually has 1 HP. I think he could, go hit a pothole and actually explode with that much HP.
It's quite true. It looks like today LiveForever may not live up to his name. We have a Banshee making now for Maka.
Maka going to follow this play up with a little bit more harassment over here. He could take out SCVs, also use that Banshee for defense.
Oh, looks like he cancels that Banshee.
Oh yeah, he stopped the Banshee now. Okay. Now, I'm surprised that LiveForever didn't tap out right there, but I think he wants to try to hang on here. Each player has a different way of approaching this stuff on the tournament level. Some of these guys try to stay, try to get their game back in there. Other ones say that if they stay in the game when they're losing for too long, it messes them up psychologically. They got to start over.
Yeah.
But clearly, next LiveForever decides that he might as well try it all in this one.
This is it. This is for the big bucks, man. You get in the top 4, and that is a serious accomplishment. Top 8, it's good. It's great, but it's not quite as remembered as top 4.
Oh, he's going to get this mule. Either way.
And a drop at the back. Chased away, though. No prob.
Maka has forces on both sides. The front is going to be open. He can loop around with these drop ships.
A Banshee is out. That Banshee making him run away. Realizes he's not going to be able to do anything. Are you going to move those siege tanks up? I guess he wants to defend with the Marines. Oh, nice. Siege tanks. Sieging up, hitting the Marines. Marines sniping off a dropship. Very, very nice. And it looks like Maka actually He is trying too hard to do so much damage. But look at this, the Marine in the SCV line, taking out an SCV.
Very nice play. We got more units on the way up here. The 1 hit points each tank back in this. And you can see this tank almost in range, actually, of the command center.
Wow.
And that was a blunder there by LiveForever. These units stay alive, and I believe this now is going to be GG here.
Yeah, this is going to be just about impossible to stop. And there we go, the stim targeting the siege tank. And SCV's coming out, realizing, well, that's not going to work. LiveForever, GG's. And Maka up 1-0 with a very convincing victory.
Well, that was a very well-played game by Maka. He was way ahead of LiveForever the entire time. And I believe this is officially the first StarCraft 2 game here at GOMTV where we have seen a neutral unit killed in a freak accident.
It could have been. Might have been.
It brings me back to the Panda Bear guy days.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Burned to death by the flames of LiveForever, and just like in StarCraft 1, you kill that neutral unit, it's bad luck.
That's
you end up losing.
Ooh, is this the beginning of a pattern on Scrap Station?
Might be the beginning of something amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's go back and talk about that first game. To me, it just seemed like Maka's opening was superior. It was safer.
It was. It was a standard opening, and this weird kind of Hellion drop. He had to know that, okay, if he opens Vikings, I'm pretty dead.
Yeah.
So what was he really counting on there with that build? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
An ill-advised build order here for next LiveForever.
Unfortunately, we see a lot of these guys doing Hellion drops. I don't think the early game Hellion drops are quite as good as the early game Vulture drops we saw in StarCraft 1. It doesn't seem like if the player has his army in there, you're going to be able to do as much damage. The countdown has started, so we're going to go to game number 2 pretty fast here. Let's get ready.